with the vision bright, skills to empower futures lie. In Kenya schools we're on the rise, our dream takes flight to new heights. Oh, we're climbing step by step, building future strong and safe. CBET, changing lives anew. In CBET, watch us break through.
Hello viewers, Flockel Show is back to continue with our presentation of CBET principles. Today we are on CBET principle number 6, which is reflective teaching practice. Reflective teaching practice is a key principle in competency-based education and training, CBET. It emphasizes the continuous self-evaluation and professional growth of educators to improve the quality of teaching and learning. Through reflection, instructors can identify what is working well in their teaching practices, understand where improvements are needed, and make adjustments that better support learners in achieving their competencies. In order to expand on this, I will look at the following key aspects in this principle. Aspect number 1 is continuous improvement and professional growth. Reflective teaching encourages educators to regularly assess and improve their own teaching strategies and methods. Teachers are encouraged to analyze their teaching practices, identify strengths, and address areas that could benefit from improvement. For example, after delivering a lesson on data analysis, an instructor may reflect on how well the student understood the concepts. If many learners struggled with a specific part, the teacher may revise the approach by adding more interactive activities or providing additional resources. Aspect number 2 is self-assessment and adaptation. Reflective teaching involves self-assessment by the teacher, where they critically review their teaching methods, materials, and interactions with the students. Teachers then adapt their practices based on their assessment to meet the diverse needs of learners, ensuring that the learning environment remains effective and inclusive. For example, a teacher might reflect on students' performance in an assessment and realize that learners did not perform as expected. The instructor could then revise the lesson plans or introduce different types of assessments to better gauge learners' competencies. Aspect number 3 is student-centered feedback. Reflective teaching encourages instructors to seek and incorporate students' feedback to understand their learning needs, preferences, and challenges. This feedback allows the teacher to adjust the learning experience to make it more relevant and effective for the students. For example, after completing a module on project management, a teacher might ask students to provide feedback on teaching methods, materials, or pacing of the course. This feedback helps the teacher reflect on how they can better support students' learning in the future. Aspect number 4 is adapting to diverse learners. In CBET, learners often have varying needs, backgrounds, and learning paces. Reflective practice helps teachers adapt their approaches to accommodate these differences, ensuring that all learners can progress towards mastery of competencies. Reflecting on how to better engage learners with different learning styles, that is visual, auditory, kinesthetics, ensures a more inclusive approach. For example, a teacher might notice that some students excel in practical hands-on exercise, while others prefer theory-based learning. And now, reflecting this, the teacher could incorporate a mix of hands-on projects and theoretical lessons to better support all learners. Aspect number 5 is ongoing professional development. Reflective practice in CBET encourages educators to engage in ongoing professional development. Teachers may seek out additional training, attend workshops, or participate in peer observation to improve their teaching practices. By committing to lifelong learning, educators stay current with new teaching methods, technologies, and industry requirements. For example, an instructor in a business program may attend a workshop on the latest trends in digital marketing, then reflect on how they can integrate these new insights into their teaching practices. Aspect number 6 is enhanced problem-solving skills. Reflective teaching encourages educators to analyze teaching challenges and find creative solutions. This problem-solving process helps them address specific obstacles to learning and identify effective strategies to overcome them. For example, if students consistently struggle with a particular topic, such as financial analysis, a reflective teacher might brainstorm ways to break down complex concepts into simpler, more digestible parts, or provide additional practical exercises. Aspect number 7, use of evidence-based practices. Reflective teaching involves using evidence-based practices to assess the effectiveness of teaching strategies. Teachers look at students' outcomes, engagement, and feedback to determine which methods work best in helping learners achieve their competencies. For example, if an instructor observes that students who engage in peer reviews perform better in subsequent assignments, they might choose to incorporate peer assessment more frequently into their teaching practice. Aspect number 8 is fostering a growth mindset. Reflective teaching helps foster a growth mindset in both teachers and students. Teachers who reflect on their own practice show a willingness to learn, adapt, and grow. This mindset can be contagious and inspire students to also view challenges as opportunities for learning and improvement. For example, after completing an assessment, a teacher may reflect on the learning outcomes and acknowledge that some students faced difficulties. The teacher might then provide additional resources, practice exercises, or study sessions to help students strengthen those competencies, reinforcing the idea that learning is an ongoing process. Then aspect number 9 is collaboration and peer reflection. Teachers can also engage in peer reflection by collaborating with colleagues to discuss teaching practices and share insights. Peer observations or collaborative planning sessions offer opportunities to learn from others, challenge assumptions, and refine approaches to teaching. For example, teachers in a vocational training program might observe each other's classes, offer constructive feedback, and discuss what strategies worked well in fostering competency development among learners. And then aspect number 10 is supporting competency mastery. Reflective practice aligns closely with the goals of competency-based education, where the focus is on ensuring that learners achieve mastery of specific competencies. By regularly reflecting on teaching practice and student outcomes, instructors can better support learners in progressing at their own pace and mastering the required skills. For example, if learners in a welding program are not mastering a specific competency, the teacher might reflect on difficulty of the task and adjust the pacing of offer more one-on-one coaching or introduce additional hands-on practice to help students meet the competency standards. Then finally, we look at the benefits of reflective teaching practice in CBET. Benefit number 1 is improved student outcomes. Reflective teaching enables instructors to identify what strategies work best for helping students master competencies, leading to improved learners' performance. Benefit number 2 is tailored instruction. Teachers can adapt their instruction based on continuous reflection, ensuring it meets the diverse needs of learners in a CBET environment. Number 3, increased teacher engagement and satisfaction. Teachers who engage in reflective practice and tend to feel more professionally fulfilled because they actively participate in improving their craft and see the positive impact of their effort on student success. Number 4, it promotes lifelong learning. Reflective practice encourages teachers to embrace a mindset of lifelong learning, keeping them engaged with new developments in education, industry practices, and teaching techniques. Benefit number 5 is better learning environments. Teachers who reflect on their practices are better able to create a supportive, inclusive, and engaging learning environment, which ultimately benefits the learner's overall experience. Benefit number 6 is greater collaboration. Reflective practice encourages teachers to collaborate with peers, encourage feedback, and share best practices, leading to a more cohesive and effective teaching community. In conclusion, reflective teaching practice in CBET is a critical element that supports continuous improvement in teaching. Through regular self-assessment, feedback incorporation, and adaptation of instructional strategies, teachers can ensure that learners are effectively supported in mastering competencies. This principle contributes to dynamic, evolving learning environment where both instructors and students thrive. Thank you so much for viewing Frokil's show. Continue interacting with our videos. Give us your comments, share our videos with your colleagues, and also consider subscribing to our YouTube channel so that once we upload more videos, you get alerts on when you can view them. Thank you so much for viewing Frokil's show.
Engage and explore. Look a show we inform, in wisdom we store. Through words we teach, and insights we proclaim. Together we grow, seeking knowledge flame. Lecture show we share, lessons in the air. Learning what's new, with open mind.